Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. We have some faculty spread all over the place today, so I'm going to be giving Dr. Clausen's presentation, just an overview of the program, and then we'll do some questions and answers, have some of the residents and our own students and visiting students share some of their experiences and give you a chance to ask questions about our program. I'm Martha Terrest. I'm chair of the program and so happy that you all joined us today. So first, looking at the match timeline, of course, we're in this time frame when registration has started, but you have until next week to start thinking about your signals. Signals are very important. I'll just tell you, we didn't invite anybody for an interview last year that didn't signal us, but some programs did. But it's very important to signal the programs you're interested in. You have 30 signals, and I would talk to your match advisors to get an idea of how many reach programs, how many about your level programs, and how many uh, safety programs you need to list based on the quality of your application. So that's a one-on-one meeting you need to have with your advisor to decide about signaling. And then, of course, the big dates down at the bottom. Your rank list is due on January 6th, and we all find out who we're going to be working with on February 3rd. Our interview dates are November 9th and December 12th, just so you're aware of those. The way the interview process goes is that we invite you for a specific date, but if you can't come that day, you can ask to be waitlisted for the other date if it's not filled. This is where Augusta is. A lot of people on the call are from the Southeast and kind of have an idea, but Augusta is right on the state line between South Carolina and Georgia. So we have a lot of South Carolina patients as well as Georgia patients, and we're very centrally located to a lot of cool places. Atlanta, Charleston, Savannah, the North Carolina mountains. You can get to all of those, the beach, within 2.5, 3 hours. So it makes it a great place to work at. I just drove up to Asheville last weekend, so it was 2.5 hours. So it's easy to do weekend trips from there and get to other places from Augusta. Our medical school is an old medical school. It's the 13th medical school in the United States. Was founded in 1828. The undergraduate campus of Augusta University, we merged with them in 2013, giving us an affiliated undergraduate campus with about 10,000 students and 1,000 full-time faculty. The Health Sciences campus, which is where the medical school and the hospital is located, has the School of Medicine, the Medical College of Georgia, the School of Dentistry, the Dental College of Georgia, School of Graduate Studies, that's your PhD programs, the School of Nursing and Allied Health, that includes all of your nursing, nurse anesthetist, nurse practitioners, as well as physician assistant schools. We have over 50 million in NIH funding and makes us in the top 7 in the nation for funding per faculty member. Our main hospital is the AU Health Medical Center. We recently, just in the past year, turned into Wellstar MCG Medical Center. It has 478 beds. Charlie Norwood VA Hospital is 156 beds, and the Children's Hospital of Georgia is 154. They're all located right together. The VA and the adult hospital are connected through a walkway right across the main street coming in. The Children's Hospital is attached on the backside, as is the clinic building. So it's really a park once and walk wherever you need to be sort of facility. for now. We have new construction coming up, and the cancer center you do have to walk outside across a parking lot to get to, but it's still fairly close together. This is part of the main building. This building with the curved wall, that's the main clinic building. The urology clinics are on the fourth floor, and the pediatric urology clinics are on the third floor with the rest of the pediatric specialty clinics, but we're one right above each other so we can run back and forth with catheters and such when needed. The picture on the right is the main hospital, Wellstar MCG Hospital, and you can see that there's this building, this walkway coming across the street that connects to the VA hospital. We call that connection lovingly the fistula between the two hospitals. The Children's Hospital of Georgia is a beautiful hospital, very efficient, very designed for surgeons to be able to operate effectively. Really a joy to work there, and that's where all of our pediatric urology, inpatient care, and OR care takes place. This is the VA hospital across the street from us. We have a very busy VA. It's got all the latest and greatest BPH technologies, robot surgery. It's really an outstanding experience for our residents, and certainly a level of autonomy that you don't get at a lot of other institutions. The dental college is a new building, very nice. It's great to be affiliated with it. The medical college, also brand new building that really state-of-the-art simulation center. We have terrific students that come through there, some who are on this call. Our cancer center has had an expansion recently, tremendous research effort, and a great interdisciplinary cancer center there that's right across the parking lot from the main hospital. The new thing on the block is the Columbia County Hospital. That should be done in the first or second quarter of 2026. So that's something that would happen while you are a resident here. Probably initially, that would be something the residents would just go over to when there's a juicy case to do. We're not going to send residents over there just to be their catheter starting service when they're getting started. But we do anticipate that we will add more residency position slots in the coming years to be able to field a team over at that hospital. We currently have the Columbia County Surgery Center where we do a fair number of outpatient procedures. And here's some more pictures of the new hospital, sort of a mock-up of what it's going to look like, as well as how far the construction is currently. Our residency program is 5 years. It's fully accredited with 1 intern year and 4 urology years. I apologize for the cat in the background. We currently have 14 residents. We'll have 15 next year. We went up from 2 residents a year to 3 residents a year in 2019, and we'll be up to the full 3 a year next year. This year, we've got 3 in every year except the chief year. The PGY 1 year, you spend 6 months on urology, a month on minimally invasive surgery. You get a really good primer on robotic surgery at that rotation. They do a great job of simulator work and that sort of thing. Transplant, surgical oncology, ICU, ped surgery, and acute care trauma surgery. The PGY 2 year is split 3 ways on the adult service, the VA service, and the pediatric urology service. And the PGY 2 year is the hardest year for sure. It's you're not an intern anymore, but you're not doing the giant cool cases yet. So that's the hardest one, and we try to take care of our PGY 2s, even though it's not necessarily the most fun year at any residency program. You ask any residency program across the country what's their hardest year, they're going to say their PGY 2 year. PGY 3 year is research, MCG adult, and VA. PGY 4 year is pediatric urology, urogynecology, MCG adult, and an elective rotation with interventional radiology and the private practice urologist in the area. And PGY 5-year is chief at the VA and chief at MCG. When there's 3 PGY 5s, we split the MCG between a benign chief and a oncology chief. Call when you're on the general surgery services as an intern, it's in-house, but when you're on the urology services, it's home call if all the patients are doing well and things are tucked in. 2 and 3, you're on home call, but your first call, you know, if something comes in the ER or something happens with one of our inpatients, you end up coming in. And PGY 4 and 5 is chief call, meaning if it's not something that the PGY 2 and 3 can handle, or if it's something going to the OR, you end up coming in, but you don't come in for every little thing. We currently take our weekends in blocks, so one resident team would take the whole weekend. The benefit of that is that you have the other weekends completely off. You're not coming in to round on a Saturday or Sunday, even though you're not on call. We will continue that as long as it's reasonable, but if that kind of call ultimately ends up breaking the 80-hour work week, we may have to split the weekends. We don't want to do that, and we leave that decision up to the residents. We don't try to micromanage them. We don't allow moonlighting. You're busy enough as it is. Our residency program strengths include a robust clinical experience, a diverse faculty and residents, aggressive, organized academic program that the faculty participate in enthusiastically, and a culture of investigation. When we talk about a robust clinical program, first of all, what you are interested in as prospective residents is, do you get to operate a lot? And the answer to that is yes. So you can see what the operative volume is for our residents compared to the national averages. This is our chief residence volumes that finished the last couple of years. Outstanding experience. The one thing you can't tell from these graphs and from any other program also showing you their operative volume is how much the residents get to do. And our program, the residents do the majority of the case to the point that their skills will allow them. I mean, occasionally the attending will jump in, but it is very much prioritized that the residents do the case and learn how to do the operations. This is just the volume shown in tabular form for one of our chief residents. Here's our faculty. This is me. I'm the chair of urology. I did my general surgery at Duke, my urology residency and fellowship at Stanford. Dr. Clausen is our residency program director. He's going to jump on here when time allows. He did his residency with us and his oncology fellowship in Toronto, a great addition to our oncology program. Dr. Sharita King is our assistant program director. Her specialty is prosthetics and sexual medicine. She did her residency here and her sexual medicine fellowship in San Diego. She's an Augusta native. She grew up here in Augusta. In fact, her name is still on the wall at one of the local high schools as having the record for the 100-yard dash. She also ran track for UGA and went to med school at MCG. Dr. Brad Morgenstern is our chief of pediatric urology and the medical student clerkship director. Any of the MCG students that are on this call already know him well. He did his urology residency at Long Island Jewish and as well as his pediatric urology fellowship. He actually grew up in Atlanta, so he's not as far off of the southern charms as you might think, having done all of his residency and training in New York and med school. Dr. Santa Maria does general urology. He's our stone guru. He cranks out stone cases every week. He did his urology residency at Emory. Dr. Shonda Isdell is our newest faculty member. She comes to us from, she actually went to med school here in Georgia did her urology residency at SUNY Downstate and her oncology fellowship at Wisconsin, and just joined us last month, and we're delighted to have her. She's already doing some great stuff. Dr. Jennifer Pugliese is joining our VA pretty soon, maybe in the next week or two, she'll be starting. She did her residency at Madigan Army Hospital and has been actually volunteering at our VA while she has been on the staff at the local Army base um, as a urologist there. So the residents already know her and love her and enjoy working with her. So it's great to have her now that she's retired from the military officially on board with us. Dr. Tom Dykes is our chief at the VA. He does a tremendous job running our VA. He was also career military before retiring and joining our VA staff. He is trained at Tripler Army Medical Center in Hawaii. The benefit of having somebody in charge at the VA that was full-time military is he really knows how the government paperwork requisition things work well. He and for that reason, he has been able to get us a new robot model, different BPH technologies, the Resume equipment, and for example, and all these other newer technologies that you wouldn't think necessarily you would have access to at a VA, but he really does know how to bring those sorts of novel technologies into the government hospital space. Dr. John DeCaro is also at the VA. He did his med school at Stanford and is doing his urology residency at Emory before joining us. He runs telehealth. He's very much into the latest technology for taking care of patients at a distance. He had a fellowship with Doximity to do telehealth and has done some research on different things like at-home flow rate machines and things like that, which is really fascinating stuff. Additional faculty is Dr. Ive Joseph. She does female pelvic medicine. Our residents rotate with her and have a great experience. Dr. Jeff Carney does reconstructive urology. We have Dr. Kavuri, who does GU pathology. Mittal is a radiologist that does all of our MRIs. And then the Lokeshwars, Dr. Vinita and Balakrishna Lokeshwar, run the basic science program for urology. And these two individuals are phenomenal. They brought in a tremendous amount of grant funding for urologic research and always involve the residents in projects when they're interested in it. And many residents will choose to do their research time with them. And you're not going to be learning how to pipette and something crazy like that, but they really will incorporate your skill set. For example, looking up the clinical story that goes with the tissue they did the tests on and that sort of thing to correlate the outcome. So it's good stuff. Our additional staff, the NPs, we have Miranda Schuler, Ashley Patton, and Gina Jones-Knight on the adult side. On pediatrics, we have Miranda Wood and Jill Harper. Over at the VA, we have 3 PAs and an NP. We have Brian Matthews, who is the elder statesman of the VA. He's been there longer than just about anybody else and really knows how the place works. In addition, we've got Valerie Favors, Lee Ryan, and the most recent addition is Laura Cox, nurse practitioners, and they do a tremendous amount of patient care and really make the residents' job pleasant over at the VA by doing a lot of the work that at many VAs will fall on the residents. They do a tremendous job. Our administrative staff, we have Kim Maddox, who's on the call here. She's our residency program director and Zoom aficionado and the seat of organization in our program. So she does amazing work getting us through the match every year and keeping our residents happy. Eva McCord also takes care of many of our faculty, and Susan Walker takes care of the pediatric end. Current residents, Kyle Klein is chief resident. He's going to Ocala, Florida for practice when he gets done. He got his undergrad degree from Harding University and MS from Lipscomb and his MD from Arkansas. Mary Ma is a local girl, MD, PhD from Medical College of Georgia after her bachelor's at UGA. She's going to be doing a robotics fellowship at Duke next year. Our current PGY4s, Nate Taylor is UGA MCG as well, just like Dr. Ma. Weber Pike went to University of South Carolina where he played on the baseball team and got his MD at USC Greenville. Carter Reed, University of Alabama and Medical College of Georgia. You can imagine the rivalries that come up during football season between these three. PGY3 residents are Drew Sanders, UAB for undergrad, Morehouse for his MD, Ed Mackin, University of Kansas, all the way, and Chen did UGA and MCG, as is a recurring theme. Chris Horn, undergrad at Baylor, master's at University of North Texas, and his DO from Auburn. Freeman McCluskey, University of the South, and Mercer. And Ross Nolan went to University of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. You'll know we got a couple of DOs here. These are not the first DOs in our program. We don't have any biases against DOs. So these two guys are great representatives of that degree in our current residency program. And our interns, Ahmed Hafar, West Virginia for both undergrad and med school, Libby Lee, University of Mississippi for undergrad, MS from Mississippi College, and MD from University of Mississippi, and Grant Ward, another DO from Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Our conference schedule, we've got conference 3 times a week, pre-op conference every Monday morning. A citywide radiology conference is quarterly, where we meet with the private practice docs in town. We'll often have a visiting speaker or present interesting cases. Morbidity and mortality is monthly. We have our cancer conference, multidisciplinary cancer conference twice a month. Journal club is approximately monthly. Textbook reviews approximately monthly. Resident lectures 1 to 3 times a week. So this is kind of changes with the seasons, right? So early in the year, in July, most of these lectures are geared toward the new interns and PGY2 residents, and they're things like tricks for difficult catheterization, septic stones, and priapism, and all of these other sort of emergency situations that you're going to be seeing by yourself for the first time on the urology service. As the urology consultant, you're supposed to be the expert. So we give you a little primer in the emergency management. Then the next couple of months are in-service prep. So the in-service exam for urology is usually in mid-November. And just like step 1 and step 2 and every other exam you had to study for, there's some things you just got to study every major exam, like the evaluation of an adrenal mass or the evaluation of ambiguous genitalia or things like that. They're just some things that you have to brush up on for every single test you're going to take, and that's what we do leading up to that exam in November. And then the rest of the academic year is going to be the up-to-date topics, what's new in oncology drugs, what's new in BPH technologies, that sort of thing. Annual conferences include our Rinker-Witherington Symposium that's coming up next month, where we have all of our alumni come back. We have a visiting speaker. It's a good time. We have a nice reception and get to see previous graduates of the program and previous faculty members come back. It's a good time. The Mode Memorial Symposium is for residents and students to present their research. This is usually timed each year right before the Southeastern Section AUA meeting, and to do two things. One, if you have something you're going to give at Southeastern, you can do a warm up at this. And number two, if you submitted something and it didn't get accepted, you get to present it somewhere so that it wasn't completely wasted effort. We do send residents to the basic science course. Those that have accepted papers can go to the AUA annual meeting and the Southeastern section meeting. And then the PGY3s usually go to the Georgia Urologic annual meeting where the private practice doctors in Georgia will try to recruit them to their practices, but it's also a wonderful meeting. It takes place at the Cloister in Sea Island. It's coming up in a couple of weeks, actually. And this is a beautiful resort. Once you go there, you'll never want to go anywhere else. It's just so posh. And the Georgia Urologic actually pays for the PGY3 residents to go. So it's a great time for everyone. So we have 4 months dedicated research in the PGY3 year. Additional is strongly encouraged. So if you wanted to start putting some data together during your intern and second year, and then just write it up your PGY3 year, that's something you could do. There's a research coordination service to help you get things through the IRB and stuff. The Locusware Lab is a home run. If you don't know what you like, you don't know what to do, they can get you plugged into existing projects. We do expect one publishable paper per year, and we'll help you with that. And we expect you to present at the Mode Research Symposium. After residency career paths, 1/3 to 1/2 of the residents go into fellowship. As far as practice after residency, there's a Southeast predominance, but people go all over, Midwest, Northeast, Northwest, and the Southwest. Fellowship placements, the past 10 years, NYU, Cleveland Clinic, UAB for female pelvic medicine, urologic oncology, Memorial Sloan Kettering, and 2 that have gone to Toronto. For endourology, 1 went to George Washington, and as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Ma, our current chief resident, is going to Duke. For pediatric urology, we've had residents go to Indiana, UCSF, Memphis, and Pittsburgh. For sexual medicine, San Diego, UAB, and Miami. And finally, Cleveland Clinic for infertility. In fact, the 2 guys that went to Cleveland Clinic, 1 in FPMRS and 1 in infertility, were chief residents together. We had to joke that they didn't want to separate, so they both went to Cleveland Clinic together for fellowship. Resident benefits, you have health insurance, disability insurance, malpractice insurance. We do provide you with white coats and laundry of those coats, meals on call, and 3 weeks vacation, family and sick leave. And we can help you if it's hard if you're a medical couple, and one of you is trying to go into urology, because we're an early match. It's not part of the NRMP where there is a couples matching option, but we're a small enough institution that I have close relationships with all the other chairs. I meet with them a couple of times a week, every week, so we all know each other and can ask for favors. So if you've got a partner or spouse that is also matching, that's something we can work with to try to make things work out for you. We've had 3 in recent history that we've been able to get the spouse matched at one of our programs. We have the resident gym that's very popular, that's right around the corner from the residence room. Opportunities for volunteerism, IVU Med. Certainly, if you're interested in volunteerism, check out their website, IVU Med. The IVU Med was actually started by Dr. Catherine DeVries when she was a faculty here at MCG. She went from MCG to Utah and is now retired, but IVU Med continues to be a huge success, and we're proud to have had a role in that. We've had several residents win their scholarships and go on trips with them. Here's a picture of Dr. Chip Carnes, who went to Haiti in 2018, Ben Harper went to India in 2020. We've had others go to the Dominican Republic and Africa. And then, of course, there's the Masters. This is a great week. If you've never been in the Augusta area or don't know anything about golf, you might not know that that's one of the biggest things that happens here. But the Augusta National is a world famous golf course here, and the whole world turns its eyes to us for 1 week out of the year. It's coming up April 7th through 13th, 2025. It tends to be a light week here because there's no hotel capacity in the city for patients to come in from out of town. So we run kind of a skeleton crew and try to get everybody out to enjoy some of the festivities during the week. Augusta is number 5 on the Forbes top 100 best places to live. We've got this interesting canal system through the city, which was built to connect textile mills to cotton processing plants back in the Old South. And then that goes into the Savannah River. So the Savannah River in Augusta is the first place on the Savannah that you can put a ship in and get all the way to the ocean. So in the Old South, people would bring their cotton to Augusta to have it shipped across the world or have textiles made out of it and then shipped. So there's a very interesting water system in Augusta and lots of water sports, kayaking, skiing. A lot of people live on houseboats, that sort of thing. We also have the Augusta Green Jackets. Evans is the next community over, and it's close to actually where the new hospital is being built. A lot of our faculty live there. That's where the good school systems are, and was listed as one of the best places to live in America right now. It's still on the list. I don't think it's number 1 this year, but it's still up there. Beautiful community. Columbia County is the Performing Arts Center is a new construction there. I just went for the first time to see Neil deGrasse Tyson speak a few weeks ago. It was great. And then around the 3-hour radius, I mentioned this earlier, but you can get to the beach, to the mountains, to Atlanta, to Charleston, to Savannah, to Charlotte very easily, and down even to St. Simons and Florida fairly easily. So it's a great place to be from, very centrally located to a lot of attractions. Outdoor activities include running. There are many active clubs. There's a half marathon several times a year. The Ironman in September. Cycling the Greenway is a beautiful old train trestle through North Augusta, the Augusta Canal, as I mentioned before, in the Forks Area Trail System. Golf is huge here, as you would expect. Multiple public and private courses. It's the disc golf capital of the country. The national headquarters are here. Canoeing, kayaking, fishing, and boating, as I mentioned. In addition to the Augusta Canal and the Savannah River, we have Strom Thurmond Reservoir, which is also a lovely giant lake that a lot of people have second homes on, and many festivals and markets like Arts in the Heart, REAP Festival, etc. Augusta highlights medicine, military, and the masters. So medicine is the number 1 industry in the city. Number 2 is the military, and number 3 is golf. It's very affordable to live here. Most of the residents own their own home. The population immediately around the city is 350,000, but the draw area is closer to 1 million because there's nothing really between us and Atlanta and us and Charleston. So we have a huge draw area of patients. Healthcare, Fort Eisenhower, Savannah River site is a nuclear research facility, club car, and a lot of golf industries here. We have the Cyber Center National Headquarters for cybersecurity for the federal government. the Art and History Museum, ballet, orchestra, parks, tennis courts, and mini pools, and a very nice aquatic center. So welcome. We're Here are all of our social media presences. If you haven't seen us on social media somewhere, get on social media because that's where all programs are listing their open houses and things like that. That's how you're going to find out those things. And this is where you'll see us. Thank you very much. So let's open things up for questions. Let's see. John Michael, are you still on? Yeah, there you are.
Yes, I am.
So John Michael just finished a visiting rotation with us yesterday, and so can kind of tell you what it is from outsider looking in, coming to visit with us. He's also done some rotations at other big programs and can kind of give a compare and contrast and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was an awesome month. I really had a great time. Honestly, just looking like top down, the attendings were really great. They made sure you kind of did not really what you wanted to do, I guess, per se, but almost what you wanted to do. If you wanted to go to clinic for a day and learn more about clinic, you were there in clinic. If you wanted to do an OR day and really get to do some cool cases, there was like a plethora of cases you could go and see, big open cases to endourology cases. So just a wide range of things to do. The residents were awesome. They really made sure you were really involved, made sure that you were always eating food with everyone, that you were always on track to do things you wanted to do. And I can honestly say that is the most food I've ever eaten on a surgery service. They made sure that you're well fed. That was pretty great. But honestly, all that was awesome. But the city of Augusta was way cooler than I thought it would be. It was a ton of fun. Got to play golf and see all the breweries and food and all that. So it was cool. It was an awesome month.
Great, thanks. So, does anybody have any questions? Any students? Nobody's speaking up. Salil, you're one. Luke. Hey, Luke. Did you were
Hi,
going to
how
say
are you?
anything?
I was just wondering how the transition to being an independent department has been. Any growing pains or what's
It's
different?
no. I mean, it's been good. There's a lot of things. The When we were a division of general surgery, we were pretty limited as to how many faculty we could hire. And now that the governor's been taken off, we hired Dr. Isdale, who I mentioned, and have another pediatric urologist. We're in the middle of recruiting, and Dr. Carney, the reconstructive urologist, he's coming 2 days a month now, but we'll move up to 2 days a week probably in January. And then I've got approval from the hospital administration to hire 3 more people. So we've got a lot of recruiting to do. So it'll be good because our current urologist, Dr. Santa Maria, is on here. He can attest, are seeing a lot of patients, and some help would be welcome. Dr. Santa Maria, anything to add?
No, I mean the great thing for y'all coming here is that you're going to get your volumes like you saw on the previous screen, and the diversity of what you see is out of this world. The little 3 hour radius that was shown to you earlier is basically our catchment of patients in addition to the entire state of Georgia. So you'll be in clinic, the medical office building. It seems like you're seeing more dang VA patients than the VA is seeing, just because they have so many patients over there that they naturally kind of come our way too. And so we help out with that. You'll get patients from South Carolina routinely, North Carolina. We'll every once in a while stick their head in there. Patients as far south in Georgia as they really, you would think they would go to Jacksonville, but they come up to us. And the occasional Atlanta patient rolls in, but for the most part, most Atlanta patients kind of stay out enough healthcare there that they stay close. But otherwise, you're getting everything. And the thing about it is, I practiced in rural America I trained at Emory. I saw in the first 3 months practicing in rural America some presentations of disease much crazier than I ever saw in 6 years of urology at Emory in Atlanta. And it's just the combination of the disease processes that are out there, the people waiting and getting delayed care. I mean, the size of the stones that you get, these huge old staghorns that are coming up to us, you're going to get a level of experience with us that's definitely above and beyond, I think, what you can get in a lot of other places.
Yeah, that's so true. The other issue is that people that don't live in Atlanta are scared of Atlanta. The country folks will drive around Atlanta to come to see us, even the people in West Georgia. So we do have a huge catchment area of people coming a long way to see us. Salil or Luke, one of the MCG students, y'all want to chime in about y'all have done some aways at other places. Robert too. Y'all want to just give a couple of seconds of what things are like?
Yeah. I mean, I've spent a good amount of time, I feel like, on the service with y'all, and I think that one thing that really struck me as I went on my aways was just how close the residents are. Like, they really feels like a family when you're working with them. They really watch out for one another, and they include you, especially as a med student. When I was on service there, so that was a really interesting thing that I noticed, especially when I went on some of these other rotations where some of the residents aren't as close. And the residents here, like, they hang out outside of work as well, which I think is an important thing, especially when you're spending a lot of time with people during residency. And then one other thing that I noticed, especially in the ORs, is kind of like the autonomy that residents get to doing the cases. I think a lot that word is used a lot at a lot of programs when you're looking around, but the residents here really get to do a lot of the case, and that was one thing that impressed me, especially when I went to other programs and saw that the attendings doing a lot of the case, and residents are kind of just in the back, watching rather than really participating in the case, which they do at MCG. So that was something that struck me.
Thanks for that. Your letter of recommendation is on its way. Luke or Rob?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I'll chime in. I've also done a few away rotations, and what I think special about MCG is the relationship between residents and faculty. Um, it's one that you can kind of go to your faculty member, from what I've seen, and talk about anything, not just work. You can talk about family relationships, what's going on outside the hospital. They're all kind of in this hallway in the hospital, which I think breeds a very strong community bond between the residents and faculty. And it's not something that you're going to find at a lot of other programs. And I think that's something that, at least for me, that I'm really looking for, because it's this family environment that I think is really special about the program.
Great, thanks. Rob?
I'll just ditto a lot of what they said. I think that you get a lot of autonomy. I remember seeing the two residents, the fifth year and fourth year, taking out a big kidney cancer. And Dr. Terrace and Dr. Clausen were both kind of just sitting by the side, and they just let the residents work until they just needed somebody to step in. They stepped in for that one moment and then let them keep going. I think that kind of push to make sure you're doing as much as you actually can, and just pushing you to the point where you're like, I can't do anymore. And then they step in, is what's going to make some fantastic surgeons. And then, the community there, I think both between the residents and the faculty, now that I've done in a way, I've seen some animosity between residents and faculty, bickering and kind of tense relationships. And I just didn't really sense that when I was down there at MCG.
Thanks for that. I'm sorry you had that experience on one of your ways. So Kyle Klein, you're about to finish up the program here. Any thoughts before you head off into the sunset?
Um, as far as any thoughts, no. But I've obviously thoroughly enjoyed everything about this program. I didn't match the first time, and so I had to go on a lot of different interviews. Still did them like in person, and did a lot of aways and things like that. And um, this place has just been, I don't want to say like a miracle necessarily, but it's been exactly what I I missed out on, I guess, the first time. And from my home program and the aways and everything that I've done, everything here is more or less focused on the residents. The faculty are truly here for the residents. Obviously, to take care of patients, number one, but making sure that we are a good representation when we go out of the training, of the skill um, in urology, but also like in life skills. I know that obviously with Dr. Clausen and Dr. Terrace and Dr. Santa Maria, I've had a lot of personal conversations too, and how to take care of people, how to live a good, well-rounded life outside of urology, and also how to be, the best urologist that I can be. And the growth that happens in those 5 years is highly dependent upon the location that you're at, meaning the faculty, the environment that you find yourself in, the people that you've surrounded yourself with. And I know that without a shadow of a doubt, the moment I get out and I make a phone call to Dr. Terrace or Dr. Santa Maria or Dr. King or anybody about any question that I have, they're going to pick up. Like, I know it. And if they don't, they're going to call me back within 5-10 minutes, because that's the kind of relationship and the values that this program has. And so the support that I'll have out there in the real world comes from these 5 years. And I know that I'm well trained. I know that when I go out, I'm going to be able to take care of patients. There's going to be that moment of, oh crap, it all kind of falls on me. And ultimately it's my responsibility to take care of these people. But I know that in the back of my mind, I have the same support that I've had all 5 years here. And that to me is relatively invaluable.
Thank you. Good thoughts. So let's see. Chris Horn, Ed Weber are also on here, an assortment of levels of training. So any of you have any additional thoughts? If you don't, it's okay.
No, I think the visiting students said a lot of kind of how I feel about it too. And I did my sub-I here, and that's exactly how I felt was my home program. I loved it, but it's the relationships here, the autonomy that does get thrown around pretty loosely. I agree with Salil and Luke, and here it's a good balance too, right? There's you know the attendings do a really nice job of letting us think through things, put our critical thinking hats on, so to speak, all while, like Kyle said, they're always here for us. And so far in my two years and some change, I have nothing but good things to say. And the other thing, we're an open book. You guys can message us, email us, whatever. We're always happy to chat about anything. So just reach out.
Yeah, I guess I'll just add our autonomy is great. All the relationships between everyone are amazing. Our schedule is also pretty nice. We're on call every 6, which is about the best it can be. Everybody is a family. We're also very family oriented with kids, just with the current residents that are here. A bunch of residents have kids. A bunch of kids are on the way. So, and the program's real supportive. If people need days off, whether it's having kids or any other situation, if you have some kind of thing that happens where you need a day or 2 days to take care of something family related or life related, the program's really supportive in those ways as well.
Thanks for that, Weber. Yeah, I mean, Ed's on paternity leave right now. Actually, he's got a brand new little one that he was showing off.
Yeah, exactly. Weber's over here visiting Macy May as we speak, my new daughter. So it speaks volumes to kind of how tight knit everybody is and everything like that. So I think the other thing, and Dr. Terrace, I'll toot your guys' horn. It was the question earlier, I think, was asked about going to be a department now, and I think it's understated. I think, even as the residents, we're not always privy to kind of all of the moving pieces and things that you and the leadership are doing, but it's moving at a fast pace, and we see it. Weber and I were just talking about, we're getting a new lounge for the residents, and just all of the efforts and things like that. It's great. I think I got to give kudos to you and the leadership team, and make sure everybody knows that.
Thanks for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and it's a group effort. Like all that equipment in the resident gym was provided by Dr. Santa Maria, right? We made space, but he made it happen. So all of the faculty make these things happen. I have to put a plug. We're talking about Ed's new baby. Kyle had his fourth baby this year. So some people are a little more of a overachievers. I don't know. Chris Horn, you had your second last year, right? So
I did.
yeah.
Right before residency, I would I don't know if I would recommend it or not recommend it. But one thing I'll say is that I hope the med students that haven't gotten to do a sub-I can definitely see that our culture kind of speaks for itself. It's not something that you can kind of fake, and hopefully you get a feel for that. And when you're looking at a program, not only do you just not want to be miserable the entire time you're there, which I don't think that's possible here. You want to know that whenever you're done, you're not going to see a whole lot for the first time outside of residency. You want to feel prepared and not like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And I can honestly say that with the variety that we have here, I don't think that will happen hardly ever. I mean, you just see so much diversity. You get pretty much, especially with all the new attendings we're about to add, we're going to have you saw the caseloads that, those residents graduated with. We're about to add, like 3 or 4 more attendings. So it's just going to add to the diversity of cases that we're going to be able to do. So it's a really exciting time for our residency program, not only for just, happy our residents are. I mean, you're going to work hard no matter what. And they're the worst years, which I'm in the beginnings of, but you kind of find out what you're made out of during those years. So you kind of make the most of them.
Very good. Thanks everyone for your contributions to this. I think you probably helped the attendings very well. So those of you that are looking at our program from the outside, have any questions, please feel free. Any questions? So we decided this year to keep our interviews virtual. And I know a lot of programs, about half of programs are going back to in-person, and that's a little bit of a disadvantage potentially for us because Augusta is such a great city, and you don't think of it, you'd be like, oh, some old town in the deep South, that's got to be unpleasant, but it's not. So it may be a disadvantage for people not to see the city, but we didn't think it was fair to create so much additional expense and time constraints on the applicants to make the interviews in person. So I'd be interested in you, the applicants' thoughts on that. Is it more important to you guys to save money and maybe get to be able to attend interviews 2 days in a row versus having to leave a travel day on either side? Or would you rather see the city and the hospital you're going to? Caitlin, Sierra, anybody have a thought?
Hi. Oh, Sierra, do you want to go?
Go ahead, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin from Mercer. That's a good question because on one hand, saving money is awesome. On the other hand, I feel like I get a better idea of the city and the vibes, and also meeting people in person, shaking their hands, sitting down. I think that's something that you can't get on a two-dimensional screen. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
pretty uncomfortable talking on a screen. I feel like I'm better in person. So I would definitely, to me, it's an investment. And if a program offered in person, it's an investment to my education experience. I would definitely make it happen.
Good to know. Thank you. Sierra, what do you think?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Kira. It's not phonetically spelled.
Okay.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you for everything. As far as my thoughts, I agree a lot with what Caitlin had said. I understand it's an investment, and at this point it's more loans and more debt, but at the same time, like I'm spending a large part of the next stage of my life in a place, and that's going to look a very certain way, and I like to get an idea of the people I'm working with in person, and where people are living, what grocery shops do I go to, and all of that. I think just can be pretty important. So I agree, it's kind of an investment, but I would do it if that was an option too.
All right. Good feedback. Thank you so much. Liz, Matt, Tamika, Ava, anybody else have any thoughts? Or not? Good. Any questions about our programs that you're not here? Caitlin, you can drive over from Mercer. You can come on.
And I do have a question.
Yeah.
For visiting students, are they offered interviews during their aways?
Yes. Yeah, we go ahead and knock those out while they're here so that they're not taking up an interview spot for not people that didn't do a away. We still the AUA says for them to signal, for you to signal the programs you did a visiting rotation at. So even if you did already interview there, I mean, you've got 30 signals. You're not going to need, doing having two of them wasted, on a place you've already been is probably not that big of an issue. So we go ahead and do the interview. I mean, John Michael and I met last week to knock those out.
That helps. Thank you. I will be visiting at the end of September, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Great. Look forward to seeing you then. Any other questions? All right. So Matt Collins, can you turn on your camera? Because we had a resident here named Matt Collins. I had to be sure he's not stalking us again. I'm sure not. But he's in practice up in North Carolina now and doing very well. He finished probably 6 years ago now. Nope, you're not the same guy. Hi, how are you? You're muted.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I've got an audition coming up, so I'm getting everything packed up. I'll actually see y'all Monday.
Oh, okay. Great. See you then. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? Got a few more people that haven't spoken up, but that's okay. If you don't have any questions, you can put it in the chat, or hopefully we answered all your questions with the presentation. Great. Thanks so much to faculty and residents for joining us. Really appreciate y'all spending part of your Saturday to attract some of these applicants to our program. It means a lot to me, and to the applicants. I look forward to getting to know you better. John Michael, it was great having you here this past month. Robert, Luke, Salil, get to see you guys frequently, but it's always good to see you again. Y'all take care.